The grand hall of stars was brighter than anything heaven had ever seen in his life. Towers of crystal reached the ceiling, glowing with blue and gold light. Alien nobles from 100 worlds filled the rows, their eyes shining, whispering in strange voices. Every seat was taken. Every gaze was fixed on the human standing at the altar. Evan stood very still, hands behind his back, trying not to show his nerves. His suit was simple, nothing like the armor-like ceremonial clothes the alien guards wore. He was the only human here, maybe the only one for 1,000 miles. He took a deep breath. His heart was loud in his chest, but his face stayed calm. He looked small compared to the hall, compared to the aliens around him, compared to the powerful family he was about to join. But he was not afraid, not really. He had waited 10 years for this moment. He knew what it meant. He knew what he was doing. Even if nobody else understood, this wedding was not for love, not for a fairy tale, it was for peace. At least, that was the official story. A group of tall alien diplomats watched him, their silver eyes cold. One whispered, loud enough for others to hear, "Why a human? They are weak, they break so easily." Another answered, "A political game. The princess is too kind. She makes mistakes." It didn't hurt Evan. He was used to this. Humans were often seen as less, too emotional, too fragile, too simple. But humans had something special, something nobody measured. Not yet. Trumpets made of glowing crystal sounded. The hall shook with music. The air changed, warm and electric. Everyone stood. The doors opened. Princess Kayla entered. She walked slowly down the glowing aisle, her dress like liquid starlight. Her skin shimmered like the surface of a nebula, soft patterns of violet and silver moving like galaxies. She held her head high, calm, royal, unreadable. She did not smile. She did not look sad either. Her face showed duty, not emotion. Evan watched her, but did not let his expression change. He respected her too much to stare like a fool. He lowered his gaze like any respectful groom in the Empire would. Kayla stopped in front of him. For a second, the hall felt silent. Even the music faded. She looked at him, really looked. He expected judgment, fear, disgust, but she only looked curious. Like she was trying to understand him, like she was trying to see something invisible. "This is unexpected," she said softly. Her voice was smooth, powerful but gentle. A human in the royal hall. The universe is changing. Evan bowed slightly. "I believe it is, Your High." He stopped. He remembered the rule. After today, she would no longer be Your Highness. She raised a hand. "Please, we will learn together." Step by step. The ceremony began. The High Minister spoke, his 6 eyes glowing. This union between the House of Velaris and the Human Coalition marks the end of the border war. 2 worlds, once divided, now choose unity. Unity. That was the word they used. But in the shadows of the hall, the truth was different. Not. Everyone wanted unity. A group of alien officers glared. Their armor had claw-shaped marks. Their helmets were decorated with faded scars. They were soldiers who had lost family in battles against humans. For them, this marriage was an insult. One of them spat on the floor. Evan saw it. He said nothing. Kayla saw it too. Her face remained calm, but her eyes sharpened for a moment. Something changed there. She understood the danger. The vows began. Simple phrases, traditional, almost cold. Not about devotion, but about protection. Not about feeling, but about responsibility. It was during the vows that something inside Evan shifted. He remembered the first time he saw Kayla, 10 years ago. Young, bright, brave, saving human refugees from a collapsing space station. He remembered thinking, someone like her deserves a world without fear. He never thought he would stand beside her one day. He did not speak that memory. He did not speak any memory. He only said the official words, I will stand beside you. I will not harm you. I will honor the peace between our species." Kayla watched him closely. Something in his voice made her pause. She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle. The High Minister raised the ceremonial seal, a glowing ring of energy. "Place your hands together." Evan extended his hand. Kayla hesitated for half a second, a moment nobody else noticed. Then she placed her hand in his. Energy rushed around them. The seal connected. Light circled their wrists, binding the promise. The hall erupted in noise. Some clapped, some hissed. Some walked out. Evan felt the weight of 1,000 eyes. But his mind was focused on only one thing, the small sealed letter hidden inside his jacket. He had carried it for years. Not a love letter, not a confession. Something more important. Something that could change everything. Kayla did not know about. The letter, nobody did that, and if the wrong person discovered it first, the wedding would be the least of their problems. Because somewhere in the crowd, in the darkest corner of the hall, someone watched with burning eyes. Someone who wanted this marriage to fail. Someone who would kill to stop it. The palace halls were quiet after the ceremony, but the silence felt heavy, like the air was holding its breath. Guards in shining armor lined the corridors, but even they seemed uncertain, confused by the new human husband walking beside their princess. Evan followed Kayla at a respectful distance. He made sure not to walk ahead of her. This was her world. He was the Gesno, the political symbol, as some called him. He could feel the weight of that title with every step. Their footsteps echoed. The palace lights glowed a soft blue, reacting to Kayla's presence. The walls were alive, made of biometal that shimmered when she moved. Everything here was advanced, alien, and beautiful. And yet, Evan felt no fear. Only alertness. When they reached the private chambers, Kayla stopped. She did not look back immediately. She placed her hand on a panel, and the door slid open like a curtain of light. "You may enter," she said. Her voice was calm. Not cold, not warm, just balanced. Evan stepped inside and noticed the room was divided. Two sides, separated by a transparent energy barrier. Not a prison wall, just privacy, alien tradition. They would live near each other, but as strangers. For now, Kayla deactivated the barrier, letting it fade away. "There is no need for the wall tonight," she said. "But I will understand if you wish for space." Evan nodded. "I will stay on my side. I do not wish to make you uncomfortable." Kayla looked at him, trying to see if he was sincere. He was. She could tell. She walked to a table, poured a drink from a glass container filled with shimmering liquid. It looked like starlight caught in water. "I know what others think," she said, staring at the drink. "They believe humans are weak. They believe this marriage is foolish." Evan stayed silent. He knew anything he said could be misused or misunderstood. Kayla took a sip, then placed the glass down. "I do not know if this marriage will succeed," she continued. "But I intend to try, not for romance, not for tradition. For peace." Evan's throat felt tight. He spoke quietly, carefully. "Peace is worth trying for." Her eyes met his. Again, she studied him. She always studied him. Like she was trying to find a map inside him. "You spoke the vows clearly," she said. "You did not appear afraid. Why?" He paused. The true answer, because he had loved her for 10 years, stayed locked in his heart. He spoke a safer truth. "Fear does not help anyone," he said. "If I panic, I make mistakes. If I stay calm, I understand more." Calm is a kind of armor. Kayla's expression changed. Not surprise, not admiration. Something more complex. "An interesting thought," she said. "Most soldiers here say strength is the only armor." Evan shook his head. "Strength is useless without direction." That response stayed in her mind. She turned away, but he could tell she was thinking deeply. Hours passed. Evan sat on his side of the room. reviewing information on a holographic screen. The palace had given him access to basic education files on alien customs. He wanted to respect every rule, every tradition. He did not want to embarrass Kayla, but while he read, something caught his eye, on the desk near Kayla's belongings. A necklace, a small silver crest shaped like a winged star. Familiar. Very familiar. It was the same crest Evan wore as a necklace under his shirt, the one from 10 years ago, when Kayla had saved his colony. The crest of the House of Valyrus, her house. Her family. Kayla picked it up and turned to him. "You recognize this?" she said. Not a question, a statement. Evan's heartbeat kicked. He stayed calm on the outside. "Yes," he said softly. "It is the symbol of your house." Kayla stepped closer, slow and deliberate. "There is rumor," she said, "that a young human boy was given this crest by the princess herself long ago. Do you know this story?" He did not move. "I heard it," he said. "A rumor, yes." Kayla lifted her crest. "Strange. Your necklace looks very similar. Coincidence?" She was testing him. Not cruelly, with curiosity. With suspicion. Evan had two options, lie or reveal everything. He chose a third option. "It is a story that matters to me," he said. "But I do not think it would matter to you. Not yet." Kayla blinked. His answer was unexpected. Honest, but still hiding. Something, before she could respond. A voice crackled from a communicator on her wrist. "Your Highness," a guard said urgently. "We have a situation. Intruder in the East Wing. Identity unknown." Kayla tensed, her eyes sharpened. "Secure the area," she ordered. Evan stood immediately. His training kicked in. He wasn't a soldier, but he was never unprepared. Kayla noticed his posture. "You are a diplomat now, not a fighter," she said. "Peace needs both," he replied. "Words and readiness." Kayla stared at him, and for the first time, a small spark of understanding lit between them. Not friendship, not trust, but the beginning of something that mattered. The palace alarms echoed in the distance. Someone had broken in. Someone did not want this marriage to exist. And Evan knew, deep in his heart, that the letter in his jacket, still hidden, might be the reason why. Alarms rang through the palace like thunder trapped in metal walls. Red lights flashed along the ceiling, and guards rushed through the corridors, their armor glowing with activated shields. The calm of the wedding had vanished. Now everything smelled like danger. Evan moved beside Kayla as she stepped into the hallway. He stayed behind her shoulder, not leading, not hiding, but ready, respectful, alert. A guard blocked their path. His armor was cracked, as if something powerful had struck him. "Your Highness," he said, breathing fast. "The intruder escapes through the East Wing. We think they entered during the ceremony." Kayla narrowed her eyes. "Someone wanted to ruin the Union," she said. It wasn't a question. It was truth. The guard nodded. "Possibly an assassin. But something is strange. They are avoiding direct combat. They run instead of fight." Evan listened carefully. "Avoiding fights?" he said. "Then they're scared of something. Or they have another goal." Kayla looked at him. "You think they came for information?" "Maybe," Evan said. "Or they want to test defenses, not kill." Kayla gave a short nod. She respected analysis. She respected logic. "Come," she said. "We must see the situation ourselves." They reached the East Wing. It was a long corridor of living architecture, walls that breathed, floors that glowed like quiet stars. At the far end, a door was open, flickering with sparks. Someone had forced it closed and broken it again. In front of the door, 3 alien guards lay unconscious. No blood, no bruises. Just unconscious, like they had been shut down. Evan studied the scene. No carelessness, no chaos. This intruder knew what they were doing. They avoided real damage as if they didn't want to start a war. Kayla stepped forward, lifting her hand to activate her wrist communicator. Evan touched her elbow gently, not grabbing, not holding her back. Just a warning signal. She looked at him. "Listen," he said. They both went silent. At first, there was nothing. Then, a faint hum, almost like a voice. Mechanical, filtered, echoing through the vents. A transmission, a message played, broken by static. The human not normal, target confirmed. 10 years, find the letter. Kayla's eyes widened. She turned to Evan slowly. "What letter?" she asked. Evan did not answer. His face stayed calm, but inside, his mind raced. Someone knew. Someone had been watching for years, but before Kayla could ask again, footsteps echoed from behind. The intruder. They appeared like a ghost, small, fast, covered in a dark cloak that shimmered like shadows, not alien, not human. Something in between. Their mask had no face, just a smooth surface with lines that pulsed like heartbeats. 2 guards rushed forward. The intruder moved without force, without striking, just redirecting the guards' momentum. A twist. A shift. The guards fell unharmed. Just unconscious. Kayla prepared to engage, her hands glowing with alien energy. But Evan stepped past her. Kayla frowned. "This is not your role." Evan raised one hand. "Not to fight. To speak." He addressed the intruder directly. "You're not here to kill her," he said. "Or you would have already." The intruder froze. "You're here for me." Kayla stared at Evan. "Why would they want you?" The intruder tilted their head, as if surprised. Then they lunged, but not at Kayla, not at the guards. At Evan. He moved not like a soldier, not like a warrior, but like someone who had studied danger for a long time. He sidestepped, lowering his body, letting the intruder slide past. He didn't strike. He didn't chase. He just avoided contact, letting them lose position. Kayla watched, shocked. Humans were not trained like this. Not in her experience. Evan spoke again, voice steady. "You know what I carry. But I won't let you take it." The intruder shifted stance, preparing for another move. Kayla raised her hand, energy swirling. "Stand down," she said, "or I will stop you myself." For the first time, the intruder spoke clearly. "You don't understand. The letter is not a love note. It is a warning. And if you read it too late, your empire will fall." Evan felt the world drop from under him. The letter was never meant to be seen. Not by Kayla, not by anyone. It held something dangerous. Something that could destroy the fragile peace. The intruder leapt again, but this time, Evan moved first. He grabbed a metal pole from a fallen guard, not to strike, but to block, redirect, and trap. The intruder lost balance. Evan pushed forward, forcing them back, but carefully, avoiding injury. Kayla stared in disbelief. A human defending her, controlling the fight, using more brains than strength. It challenged everything she was taught. Evan drove the pole forward, pinning the intruder to a wall. The intruder did not resist. Instead, they said one final sentence. "She must know the truth soon, or both of you will die." A burst of static. Energy filled the corridor, and the intruder vanished. Teleportation. Gone without a trace. The palace fell silent again. Alarms stopped. Guards regained control. Kayla turned to Evan, her eyes filled with 1,000 questions. "You will explain," she said softly. Not angry, not threatening, just determined. Evan lowered the pole. His breathing slowed. He nodded. "I will," he said, but not without understanding one thing first. Kayla frowned. "What is that?" Evan looked her in the eyes. "Can you handle the truth if it hurts everything you believe?" And for the first time since the wedding, Kayla didn't have an answer. The palace returned to silence, but it was not peaceful silence. It was the silence before a storm, before questions and truths sharpened into weapons. Guards searched every hallway. Doors locked, security fields activated. The air felt tense, like the building itself was watching. Evan and Kayla walked toward the strategic chamber. Neither spoke. The distance between them felt heavier now, not emotional, but full of secrets pressing forward like shadows trying to escape. When they entered, holographic screens showed maps of the palace. Red markers blinked where the intruder had been. Blue dots showed guard locations. The High Minister stood waiting, 6 eyes narrowed, face unreadable. "Your Highness," the minister said, bowing. His gaze moved to Evan and the human. "We heard you faced the intruder directly." Kayla nodded. "He was not a simple attacker. He spoke. He knew things." The minister's eyes sharpened. "What did he say?" Evan hesitated. Kayla noticed. "He said the letter Evan carries is important." She answered, "A warning, something dangerous." The minister turned to Evan. "Is this true?" Evan met his gaze calmly. "The letter exists, but I don't think it is meant to be opened yet." The minister hissed through sharp teeth. "Secrets cannot stand between worlds. The Empire will not tolerate." Kayla raised her hand. "Enough." Her voice was firm, royal, final. "This marriage is built on peace, not control. I will decide how to proceed." The minister lowered his head but not his pride. "Of course, princess, but remember, if the human becomes a threat, the Empire will remove him." Evan didn't react. Kayla did. Her eyes flashed not with anger, but with decision. Something in her shifted. She was not used to defending anyone. But she did now, even without words. Later in the strategy chamber, Kayla dismissed the guards and the minister. She and Evan stood alone. "You have one chance," she said. "Tell me what I need to know." Evan looked at the floor. Not avoiding. Thinking. "The letter is sealed," he began. "Not by paper or lock, by a code, a biometric lock. If I open it before the right moment, it destroys itself." Kayla blinked. "Who gave you this?" Evan breathed in. "A scientist. 10 years ago. During the rescue. He said one day someone would try to break peace between our worlds, and when it began, the letter would point to the cause." Kayla paced slowly, hands behind her back. "And this scientist, who was he?" Evan swallowed. "I don't know his real name, but we called him Ghost of Halion. He studied alien technology, human evolution. He believed something big was coming." Kayla stopped. "Coming from where? From who?" Evan's voice dropped. "From inside the Empire itself." Kayla's eyes widened. The walls suddenly felt closer. The lights dimmer. The shadows longer. "You think someone in my council is a traitor?" she asked. Evan did not answer directly. "I think someone fears this marriage, fears unity, fears humans becoming equal allies." Kayla closed her eyes. She had known distrust. Existed, but this was deeper, darker. It meant everything she built could fall with a single secret. A symbol in the shadows, a hologram screen flickered. A security feed replayed the intruder's escape. The cloak, the mask, the smooth heartbeat. Like lines pulsing on its surface. Kayla leaned closer. "I recognize that technology," she whispered. "It is from the old shadow projects, banned research, illegal." Evan watched her carefully. "You know who might control it?" Kayla's jaw tightened. "The Council of Purity. A group who believes aliens and humans should never mix. They hate this marriage. They hate what it represents." Evan understood now. This wasn't just a threat to him. It was a threat to peace, to the galaxy, to everything Kayla carried on her shoulders. "We need proof," he said. "Not suspicion," Kayla nodded. "And you need protection. But you will not accept guards. I do not want to put them in danger," Evan said. "They are not trained to face what might be coming." Kayla tilted her head. "And you are?" Evan didn't answer. His silence was an answer. The first crack of trust. Kella sat, hands folded, and studied him. She didn't see weakness. She didn't see a weapon. She saw a question, standing in human form. "You are not what they told me humans are," she said softly. "You are not loud. Not foolish. Not reckless." Evan exhaled. "Humans are many things. Some good, some bad. I can't speak for all of us, only myself." Kayla nodded. It made sense. More sense than she wanted to admit. She stood. If the Council of Purity is behind this, they will strike again. But next time, they will not send a messenger. They will send a destroyer. Evan stepped closer, not too close, just enough for his voice to be clear. "Then we prepare," he said. "Together." Kayla studied his face. For the first time, she did not see a stranger. She saw a partner in a battle neither of them chose. "Together," she repeated. The word felt new in her mouth, but before either could speak again, the lights flickered. Screens shut down. The floor trembled like the heartbeat of a beast waking up. A message appeared across every wall, written in glowing red language. "The Union must end before the Empire falls." Evan and Kayla looked at each other. The war for peace had already begun. The message on the walls faded, but its threat lingered like a shadow refusing to leave. Kayla dismissed the warnings for the moment. Panic would not help. Instead, she focused on the one thing she could control: information. "We go to the archives," she said. "If the Council of Purity has been planning this, there will be signs. And maybe answers about this ghost of Helion." Evan nodded. He followed her through private corridors few people were allowed to see. These hallways were ancient, older than the Empire itself. The walls were carved with symbols from forgotten languages, glowing as Kayla passed. Her bloodline activated the doors. It recognized her as royalty. The final door opened with a sigh, as if the building itself breathed out secrets. The royal archives, shelves floated in the air, stacked with memory crystals, holographic tablets, scrolls made of light. In the center of the room stood a platform that projected entire histories like full worlds suspended in air. Kayla stepped onto the platform and activated the system with her palm. Holographic windows opened in every direction. Images from decades. Reports from colonies. Names of scientists and soldiers who shaped the Empire. Evan stayed at the edge, hands behind his back. He didn't want to touch anything. He felt like a stranger in a holy place. Kayla turned to him. "You said you met a scientist." "The ghost of Helion." Evan nodded. "Yes, at the space station. During the attack, he helped me escape." Kayla began searching the database. Then he must have left a trace. No scientist works alone, not even ghosts. The platform hummed. Processing her command. Images flashed. Soldiers. Blueprints. Classified research stamps. More and more layers of history appeared like a puzzle searching for its missing piece. Finally, the system stopped. A profile appeared. A tall alien with pale skin, silver veins like lightning across his arms, and eyes like twin mirrors. His name was listed: Dr. Vareen Helion. Status: missing. Specialization: cross-species cognitive development. Last known project: human potential expansion. Kella's breath slowed. "He existed. Your story is real." Evan nodded once. "He warned me. He said one day, humans and aliens would need each other more than anyone understood, and that someone would try to stop it." Kayla looked at the report. The Council of Purity shut down his research, labeled it unnatural, dangerous. Evan stepped closer, keeping respectful distance. Maybe they feared what he discovered. Kella's voice dropped. Or they feared what he might prove. That humans are more than they believe. The idea hung in the air like a spark waiting for flame, a memory from 10 years ago without warning. The platform activated a memory file. Linked to Dr. Helian's profile. A video Kayla and Evan watched. A crowded space station. Humans running for safety. Alarms, smoke. A young Kayla, not yet a princess in full authority, helping evacuate civilians. Her face was determined, eyes full of fire. She lifted beams with energy, pushed debris aside with her powers, helped children onto escape shuttles. Evan watched silently. He remembered this day like a scar. Then the camera angle shifted. It showed a young human boy, Evan, standing at the edge of a corridor, staring at Kayla like she was a miracle made of stars and courage, fear and awe in his eyes. Not love declared. Not obsession, just a moment that burned itself into his heart. Kayla watched the image of young Evan. She did not speak. She did not smile or frown. She simply understood. The video ended. Kayla turned to him. Her voice was soft, not emotional. Just factual. You were there. Evan nodded. Yes. You never told me. I never thought it mattered, he said. I never thought I would see you again. Kayla absorbed that, not as a personal confession, but as a piece of history that finally made sense. A timeline connecting their worlds before they ever knew it. A discovery that changes everything. Hologram shifted again as the system processed deeper files. Red letters flashed. Restricted access protocol. Royal blood only target. Project Unit. Kayla's eyes narrowed. Unity. Same word as the marriage treaty. She placed her hand on the scanner. The system scanned her DNA. It accepted. Files opened. A report appeared. A message from Dr. Vereen Helian, addressed to the royal family. If unity is to survive, the Empire must learn the truth. Humans are evolving. Faster than predicted, they have a trait the Council cannot control, not strength. Not science. Potential. If they grow under guidance, they will become equal partners. If they grow under fear, they will become your greatest threat. Evan felt the room freeze around them. Kayla whispered, they are afraid of what humans might become. Evan nodded. Yes, that's why they want the marriage destroyed. Not because of me, not because of you, but because of what humans represent. Kayla looked at him with new eyes, not romantic, not sentimental, but analytical, strategic. You are not just a symbol, she said. You are evidence. A sound came from the corridor. Footsteps. Heavy. Kaeli a hologram. The room went dark. Only the hum of ancient machines remained. Evan turned toward the entrance. A voice echoed from the hall. You should not have opened that file. The High Minister stepped into the light, guards behind him, eyes cold like frozen metal. The Council knows, he said. And now neither of you can be allowed to leave this room. Kayla and Evan stood side by side, not united by feelings, not united by fate, united by danger, and the truth. The High Minister's steps echoed through the archive chamber like a countdown. His 6 eyes reflected the dim lights, cold and sharp. Behind him, elite guards fanned out, weapons humming with dangerous energy. Evan positioned himself in front of Kayla, not aggressive, but protective, like a shield shaped by choice, not command. Kaeli spoke first. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with quiet fire. High Minister, are you working for the Council of Purity? The minister didn't flinch. I serve the Empire, but the Empire must be protected from future mistakes, including this marriage. Evan stayed silent. Every word mattered now. Kayla lifted her chin. The Council fears humans. They fear what humans might become. The minister stepped closer, lowering his voice. Humans evolve too fast, think too freely. They cannot be controlled. One day, they will surpass us, and history shows what the powerful do to the weak. Evan spoke for the first time. We don't want to surpass anyone. We want to stand together. The minister laughed. A short, broken sound. You say that now. But the letter you carry, that scientist's warning, It has already begun the end. Kayla turned to Evan. The letter. It is time. Evan didn't move. His hand went to his jacket, where the sealed letter rested like a heartbeat. He looked at Kayla, then the minister, then the guards. If I open it too early, he said, it erases itself. The message is lost forever. We need to be sure. Kayla stepped beside him. Not behind, beside. We are sure. Evan understood. Silence broke like glass. He pulled out the letter. It was not paper. A silver metallic sheet with moving symbols across its surface. A small light blinked in the center, scanning his palm, confirming identity. The guards tightened their formation. Kayla raised a shield of blue energy, not to attack, but to protect the entrance. Evan pressed his thumb to the seal. The letter came to life. A hologram shot upward, forming the image of Dr. Vareen Helion, older than the last recording, his face tired, voice strained. If you are seeing this, then unity has begun. And so has the opposition. Kayla stepped closer, eyes fixed on the projection. The Council of Purity has infiltrated the highest levels of the Empire. They fear growth. They fear change. But their fear blinds them to the greater threat. The minister stiffened. Turn that off. Kayla's shield blocked him. Message continued. Not all humans are ready. Not all aliens are ready. But evolution does not wait for comfort. It moves. It chooses. The human spirit is growing. Faster, deeper, stronger. Not in muscle or weapon, but in mind and heart. Evan listened, every word pressing against him like a memory returning. You, Evan, were chosen not because of power, but because you represent the truth the Council fears. Potential without limit. A future not written by bloodline, but by action. Kayla looked at Evan, not with awe, but with understanding, like a strategist discovering an untapped resource. If the Princess of Valyris stands with you, unity survives. If she falls, humans will become something dangerous, forged by grief instead of hope. The message flickered. The hologram strained. Protect her, not because she is royal, not because of marriage, but because the future needs balance. If one side rises alone, the galaxy burns. The image crackled, and Dr. Helion's last words came like a whisper. Do not let fear build your history. Let choice do it instead. The hologram shut down. Silence. Even the walls seemed to stop breathing. The High Minister finally spoke. This is manipulation, a fantasy. Humans cannot be equal to. Kayla turned to him. Her voice was sharper than any weapon. Humans already are. The minister gestured. Guards moved in. Evan reacted before thought. Not strength. Not speed. Strategy. He pulled a fallen tablet from the shelves and slammed it into the ground. The surface shattered and released a burst of archival mist, an emergency preservation field. Shelves scrambled into motion, floating walls forming barriers, protecting knowledge. The guards hesitated, confused by the sudden maze of shelves. Kayla used the distraction. She grabbed Evan's wrist and pulled him toward the emergency exit. Panel. The minister roared. Stop them. Energy beams fired. Kayla's shield flared, absorbing the blast. Evan worked the panel, fingers flying across alien symbols. He learned faster than anyone expected. The door unsealed, but before they escaped, the minister shouted, You think a human will save the Empire? He will destroy it. Evan looked back. No, he said. Fear will. They ran. The door shut behind them, sealing off the archive and the past for now. Escape through the spine hall. Emergency corridor led through the palace's structural heart. The spine hall, a towering passage of energy veins that powered the city. Sirens echoed. Patrols scrambled. They needed to disappear fast. Kayla spoke without slowing. The Council will try again. They will send more than messengers now. Evan nodded. Then we find allies. Someone must believe in unity. Kayla hesitated. I believe in it. Evan didn't respond. But something shifted in the air. A silent agreement. They reached the final exit door. Kayla placed her hand on it. When we step through, there is no safety. No turning back. Evan looked forward. We step anyway. And together, they pushed the door open. As they vanished into the depths of the palace, fugitives in their own home, a message appeared on the nearest wall, written by an unknown hand. The city outside the palace was not calm. Warning sirens echoed across the skyline, and holographic banners flashed emergency updates. Aliens hurried through the streets, unaware of the true reason behind the alarm. To them, something dangerous had happened. To Evan and Kayla, something dangerous was happening every second. They moved through hidden walkways under the palace, old tunnels used during ancient wars. Metal walls hummed with electrical energy, and the air smelled like dust and old memory. Evan stayed alert, checking every corner. Kayla scanned her communicator, tracking guard patrols. They are sealing exits, she said. They plan to trap us inside. Evan nodded. Then we make our own exit. He found a maintenance shaft and started opening the panel. Kayla watched him work. You learn quickly for a human, she said, not unkindly. I had to, Evan replied. Humans don't always get second chances, Kayla understood. For the first time, she saw the world through his eyes, a world where weakness wasn't allowed, where survival meant learning fast, adapting faster. A friend in the shadows. When they reached the lower transport docks, someone waited for them, a tall alien in pilot armor, with wings folded behind his back like metal feathers. Kayla tensed. Evan stepped forward. The pilot raised both hands. Peace, I am not here to arrest you. Kayla recognized him. Commander. Sarek bowed slightly. I served your mother. I saw the wedding, and I saw the council's reaction. I believe the Empire needs change, not chains. Evan didn't trust him immediately. Why help us? Sarek met his gaze. Because I have seen fear shape history, and I am tired of it. His words reminded Evan of Dr. Helion. Honest, heavy, true. Sarek opened the hatch of a stealth shuttle. I can take you to the outer colonies, somewhere safe, somewhere you can plan. Kayla looked at the shuttle, then the palace behind her. Running makes us look guilty, she said, as if we are criminals. Evan answered, staying gets us killed. Then they control the story. Kayla closed her eyes. She hated this, but leadership wasn't about comfort. Leadership was choosing between impossible doors and walking through anyway. She nodded. We leave. They boarded. The first battle. For unity, the shuttle lifted off quietly, slipping into the night like a ghost. For a moment, it seemed they were free. Then alarms blared. A fleet of royal drones appeared on the radar, hundreds of them. Kayla took the co-pilot seat. They will shoot us down. Sarek pulled controls sharply. Then I hope you're human. Friend knows how to help. Evan didn't hesitate. He strapped in at the tactical console. Alien symbols flooded the screen. He memorized the drone patterns, calculated angles, found weaknesses. His brain worked like a living machine, faster. Then fear could interrupt. Turn left, he said. Sarek obeyed. The drones overshot. Drop altitude. Cut the lights, glide. Sarek did. The drones lost track for a moment. Even Kayla was surprised. How did you? I watched their behavioral algorithms, Evan said. They think like predators. Predictable ones. Kayla stared. Not frightened. Impressed, but the drones weren't done. They regrouped. Evan saw their formation shift. They're preparing a pulse net. It traps ships. Kayla's mind raced. What do we do? Evan looked at her. His voice steady. We stop running. Choice, not fear. Evan stood and moved to the ship's central console. He pulled out the letter device, once a warning, now a tool. He pressed it to the console. The ship reacted, lights flaring. Dr. Helian's voice echoed faintly. Use this when Unity must make a stand. Energy burst from the console, spreading into the engines. Not a weapon, a signal, a message. A broadcast. Words projected across open channels, reaching every drone, every ship, every listening ear. The marriage is not weakness. It is a bridge. You may fear humans. You may fear change, but fear has never built a future. This time, we choose something else. Evan didn't know if the message would work. Kayla placed her hand beside his on the console. And if the Empire falls because of us, she said, let it fall into something better. The drone stopped. Frozen. Receiving. Processing. Then, slowly, like a tide changing direction, they deactivated. One by one, lights dimmed. A path opened, not forced, but allowed. The shuttle flew through. A new beginning. Silence returned. Not tense, not dangerous. Just silence. Evan sat back. Kayla stared at the stars ahead. Where do we go now? Sarek asked. Kayla answered. To build something new. Not an empire of fear. An alliance of choice. Evan looked out at the endless galaxy, 1,000 futures waiting. For the first time, he didn't feel like a stranger in the world. He felt like he was part of its story. A story not about an alien bride and a human husband, but about two worlds learning, struggling, choosing. A beginning, not an ending. Final lines for next episode or sequel hook. Somewhere in the dark, a transmission crackled to life, unseen by them. Phase 2 has begun. If Unity survives, the real test will start. A new enemy watched. A new chapter waited. The future was coming.